Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Know About Embedded Systems. So in today's video we will develop a program to transmit a data using CAN. In the previous video I have explained and also I have written a code how to configure the CAN, but today we will concentrate how to transmit a data using CAN protocol. So this video is also a very important video. Please watch this video till the end if you want to know more about CAN programming. So before starting the video, if you are a new viewer to my channel, please subscribe my YouTube channel and click on bell icon, enable all notification so that you don't miss any video when we upload a new content. So let us start the video. CAN programming or a CAN transmission. So guys, in the previous video, as I told already in the previous video, I have already shown you how to configure the CAN using our programming. So today we'll concentrate how to transmit data using CAN. So in order to transmit data using CAN, first of all, what you should know, you should have at least 4 to 5 parameters. You can see here. These are all mandatory parameters you should know. One is message ID. So in our CAN, every message will have its unique ID. That's called as a message ID. Second parameter is called as a DLC. That's called as a data length code. And this data length code will tell you how many bytes of data you want to transmit. And third one is a data 1, nothing but lower 4 bytes. And the data 2 is nothing but upper 4 bytes. So you know that already. CAN protocol is capable of transmitting up to 8 bytes of data. So how do you transmit this 8 bytes of data? That means our unsigned int can hold only up to 4 bytes of data. That's why we have to transmit two different data, two unsigned integer. So that is your data 1 and data 2. So this is the first and foremost thing you should know. The second important thing what you should know, what are the different registers you need to use in the programming. The first important register what we're going to use is the global status register. This we're going to use in order to check the status of your transmitter buffer, transmission completion, and so on. Then the second important register we're going to use transmission identification register. Here we're going to load your message ID. So whatever I mentioned here, that message ID will be loaded here, and then a TFI transmission frame information. In this TFI register we will load DLC, and then next one is transmission data register A. Here we are going to load your data 1, and transmission register B. Here we are going to load your second data. Okay, so these are all the mandatory registers, and directly let us jump to the code how to do that. Transmitting of data, here you can see. So this is my function name, CAN transmission. As I told already, so I record some parameters. One is message identification, message ID, DLC, data 1, and data 2. Okay, so now first, before starting actual coding, so we have to follow some of the important steps here. You can see the first step, we have to check whether transmission buffer empty is or not, whether transmission buffer is empty or not. That is the first step we have to do. And if it is empty, if your transmission buffer is empty, we have to load the identification number, message ID. Then we have to load control information such as DLC, RTR, and ID. 3 informations we have to load, and load the lower 4 bytes and then load the higher 4 bytes, and enable the queued transmission and select transmission buffer 1 and check transmission complete flag. So 5 to 6 steps, major steps are there that we have to do it. So now let us start with this line number 63. You can see check transmission buffer empty or not. So how to do that? In order to check the transmission buffer emptiness, so we have to go back to the user manual here. In the user manual, we have to go to the GSR register. Here you can see the name of the register. You can see global status register, right? So this global status register is going to define various status information. Here you can see one is a receiver buffer status, data overrun, and also transmission buffer status, and then transmission completion status. So in our programming, in today's video, what we're talking about transmission, we have to concentrate on two important bits. One is called as transmission buffer status and transmission complete status. Bit number 2, here you can see the leftmost bit, whatever you're seeing, this is your bit field, bit number 2 and bit number 3. So bit number 2 talks about transmission buffer state. Bit number 3 talks about transmission complete state. Okay, so first and foremost thing, whatever I have shown here uh, in the code, so check your transmission buffer empty or not. So this is available in the global status register. So here what I need to do is I'll be using a while statement here, nothing but polling method I need to use here, and I'm going to use a can2 here and lpc underscore can2, and then here I should take a global status register and with I need to check transmission buffer state. Here you can say I have already defined a macro here. Just copy this and then paste it here. Okay, so what I did here, I'm just using a polling statement here. Using polling statement, I'm checking whether my transmission buffer status is free or not, whether your transmission buffer is free or not. Okay, that is the meaning here. One left shift off bit number 2. So this bit number 2 is nothing but transmission buffer status, TX buffer status. Okay, now the first step I have completed here, and if it is free, let us assume if it is free, so it will break the while loop and it will commit to the next line number 65. So here I'm going to load the identification message identification number. So in order to do that, so lpc underscore can2 TID1. Okay, this is a register name, and TID1 stands for register name. It's a transmission identification register. I'm just loading the message ID here, and then load the control information DLC, RTR, and ID. So RTR I'm keeping as 0, and ID is also I'm keeping as 0. Okay, so where this is available, again we need to go back to the user manual here. CAN transmission frame information register, CAN TFI, CAN transmission frame information register. Here you can see this is the bit field for DLC, and this is the bit field for RTR, and this is the bit field for IDE. DLC stands for data length code, RTR stands for remote transmission request, and this FF whatever you're seeing, this is nothing but IDE, identification extension. Okay, so this FF is nothing but IDE, identification identifier extension. Okay, so I'm not worried about RTR. We're not worried about RTR and this thing. I'm just worried only about DLC. So DLC is defined from bit field 16 to 19. Okay, what is this bit field? What is this DLC stands for? DLC stands for data length code. Yeah, come back to the code here. Here you can say I have created one macro here, hash define DLC position. So whatever I have mentioned here, these are all the positions. Okay, so this is a transmission buffer status position, transmission complete status position, and a DLC position is 16, right? So now here you can see line number 67, load the control information such as DLC, RTR, and ID. So I'm not worried about RTR and ID. I'm just worried only about DLC, which is starting from 16. So now in order to do that, so I need to copy this and then just paste it, and the register name called as TFI. TFI stands for transmission frame information register, and here I need to load the DLC value, the DLC what I'm going to receive here from the function call. So DLC left shift of DLC underscore, or else I'll just write, yeah, length is fine. I'll just write it here like this, length is equal to DLC position. So what is DLC position? Here you can see DLC position. Okay, now the second information also I have loaded. Third information, I need to load the data. After loading the data ID, I need to load the data. So in order to load the data, I need to use a register called a TDA. So TDA is equal to data1. That's it. And then TDB is equal to data2. So this is going to load your upper 4 bytes and lower 4 bytes. Okay, next important thing lies here. We need to enable the queued transmission and select TX buffer 1. Okay, so you can see the name of the register, command register. You can see here, can command register. Can command register. So what it is, this can command register or CMR, whatever you're seeing here, this register is having some important information. You can see here, bit number 5 talks about select transmission buffer 1. Bit number 6 talks about select transmission buffer 2 and select transmission buffer 3. So before transmitting any data, you have to select appropriate transmission buffers. Okay, so here bit 5, 6, 7 is responsible for selecting transmission buffer 1, 2, 3 and so on, right? I'll be selecting transmission buffer 1. Select a transmission buffer 1. Okay, now I'll just go back to the code and I'll define one macro here. Hash define select TX buff 1. This is the bit field 5. Okay, select TF buffer 1. Okay, select TX buffer 1. So bit number 5 it is. And then I have one more parameter need to check here. So this is called a queued transmission, we will call. Okay, so bit number 0, whatever you're talking about, this is called as queued transmission. You can see here, queued transmission. So that's why I'm just using queued transmission. Okay, so I'll just go back here to the, so hash define, I'll just define one more parameter here. So these two I'll be using in the coding. So select transmission buffer 1, I have to use here. So you can see here, select transmission buffer 1, select transmission buffer 1 and enable queued transmission, right? So yeah, where this is available in the register called as CMR. Okay, CMR stands for command register, CMR, and I need to enable the queue transmission. If you want to enable the queue transmission, you just copy this and enable bit number, enable 1 means enable it is queue transmission, and then I need to select transmission buffer 1, that is bit number 5. Okay, so 1 left shift of bit number 5. So this is the configuration. Okay, almost we are done with the coding. The last point is that I need to check the transmission complete flag. So how do you check? So if you want to check the transmission completion flag, I have already explained how to check it. Use the polling statement. So in the line number 65, we have checked for transmission buffers status, and now in the line number 77 we have to check for transmission completion state. So in order to do that, I have already defined one macro here, TX complete state. Just use this, that's it. Okay, so this is a function to transmit a data using your CAN protocol. Okay, so with this I just want to end up today's session. So if you have any questions, any doubts, please write in the comment section. We'll try to answer your questions. So I hope this video is an informative video. If you feel this video is an informative video, please click on the like button, share this video and subscribe my YouTube channel.